Hey, brothers and sisters, I want to give y'all some encouragement and just a reminder to check your heart, check your life, check where you're at. God's David in Psalms, he's like, Lord, reveal my heart to myself, for I don't know it. The heart is wickedly deceitful, y'all. You might be thinking you're on the right path, but I'm telling you, it might not be it. In order to have that and know where you're at, you need to be tested. Testing is good. God says, what is faith without being tested? If you chew on that for just a second, you have to be tested in order to have faith. In order to obtain faith, you have to be tested. You cannot make it and or get faith without testing. You have to be tested. So with that being said, that you have to have the testing in order to get faith, you're like, all right, I got faith. But what if you don't have faith? God says it's impossible to please him without faith. It's impossible to please God without faith. All your works, all your tithes, all your sacrifice, all your fighting sin, all your anything, all your trying to be a good person, all your cares, all of it is irrelevant if you don't have faith. Your works are nothing. Everything if you don't have faith. Now, with that being said, on the flip side, if you do have faith, you will have works. And the works are vast and they're extreme, from maybe loving and giving somebody on the side of the road some money and some clothes and some food, and then not telling a soul about it, not letting your left hand know what your right hand has done, all the way down to praying in your prayer closet. The vast amount of wonders and works are all throughout when you have faith. But as you see, there's times when you don't have faith. Maybe the Lord's telling you quit that job, but you don't listen because you don't have faith. He tells you let go of that job, but you're like, the money's good, I'm comfortable, I'm stable, and you don't listen because you don't have faith. How can you then claim that you're a servant and or a child and that you seek and or love God? He says, if you love me, you will obey my commandments. So here you are disobeying his commandments. And if you're disobeying his commandments, what does that probably mean? That you don't love me. He says, why do you call me Lord, Lord, and then not listen to what I tell you to do? And it gets even more tragic and scary when you think about when they're coming up before the Most High and they're thinking they're entering the gates and they're like, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name? Did we not do many works in your name? And he's like, get away from me, you evil doer. I never knew you. And then to take it a step even further in regards to where you're at. Could it be that you kept that job, the job that God told you to let go of, and or whatever it is, and you disobeyed, and God might have been, and you disobeyed with a stiff neck too, not even like a hesitant, like, and you really were torn about it, you just didn't care, I'm keeping it. And then could it be that God is disciplining you in a way that he's just like, all right, I'm going to step back entirely then and let you keep that which you thought was good when he told you to let it go, and you didn't listen, and now you feel like you're blessed. You got money, stability, family, everything's going great. And could it be that that is him stepping away from you, and that he's allowing you to be with the devil and with your flesh and with the world, and then that day will come where you're going to think you had done X, Y, and Z good for the Lord. And he's going to be like, get away from me. I never knew you. And then to top it off, that you were on your high and mighty horse when you stiffened your neck to the Lord. And that's when you got separated. Because the Lord says he's near to low and brokenhearted, those of a contrite heart. Meaning you're going to go through testing. You're going to go through strife. You're going to go through hatred, and so on, just like the Lord did. And so could it have been that he's telling you to step away from this job for things that you know not of, as a good father that's overwatching his sheep and he's being the shepherd, and he sees far off what's coming. And he's like, don't do that, don't go. But we don't listen. And then we don't listen. And then, Lord forbid, he doesn't leave us though. But if he does, and then we get blessed, and we now think that which was a curse is a blessing. And we won't know until it's too late. Just like what happens with children and sex trafficking and everything in that regard, when you have these predators coming up, hey little kid, I got some candy for you, and it seems so good. You're like, oh, this is good though, this is good, until it's too late. And when it's too late, it's too late. And this is just a job. But just with this analogy, this example about a job, and you do what God told you not to do. Now all of a sudden you're working extra hours. You're climbing the ladder. You're climbing the ladder. And you're like, I'm going to work hard while my kids are young. They're 3, 5, whatever. I'm going to do the work now so when they're older I can spend time. And here it all stemmed from disobedience. The Lord told you not to do that job, but you kept doing it, and you're thinking, I'm going to work hard so later on I can get provisions for my kid. Here you are 10 years later, missing out on your son's football game because you climbed the ranks. You climbed all of it, and it's a mandatory 60 to 80 hours that you're putting, mandatory travel, mandatory this and that. Now you're not spending time with your kids. And you're thinking, yeah, maybe it was all stemmed out of a small little bit of disobedience from the Lord. Or that's even if God's willing to let you see where it all stemmed from. And he maybe saw your heart when you didn't know, and maybe it was a love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil. And this is just one example about a job. This is just a job. What about relationships? What about when he tells you, stop talking to all those guys. Stop having your roster of guys trying to fill out him and him and him and him. Who's going to be the next? Who's going to be this? Oh, I'll keep all these guys, because you don't have faith that God can bring you the one or a one. So you're like, I'm grabbing the mass amounts. I got to try it out. I got to test drive it. I got to XYZ before the Lord comes and brings me what I'm supposed to have, because I need to know. Because you don't have faith, though. Because you don't have faith to be like, you know what? I'm going to set it down and be quiet and do what he tells me to do, and have faith that you'll do exactly what you told me. And then things might work out. You might get X, Y, and Z thinking it's all good. And then we look at the divorce rates of where we're at today. Nobody's listening to the Lord. He says, if you love me, you'll obey my commandments. So that's love. And then we know where the opposite is disobedience, not listening. Look at Jonah. He came up with his excuse, his justification, his reasoning. That's the whole problem. We lean to ourselves. We're lovers of self. We're lovers of our own knowledge and our own wisdom and our own understanding. We ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And now we're puffed up with knowledge, thinking we know everything. Oh, because we got the knowledge now. And we've forsaken God this entire time. We disobey when he tells us to do something. We're like, well, according to my logic and my understanding, I should go this way. I know you said go that way, God, but you told me to preach to these people in Nineveh. They're not listening. You've sent prophets before. No, they don't deserve it. So no, I'm not listening. And then we go as we see fit. Is that not what we do? Left and right. And then yet while simultaneously claiming we love the Lord. Could it be that on that day, we're the ones with the gnashing of the teeth and the weeping when we find out we weren't doing anything right, and it was wrong the entire time, and there is no turning back? We got in that child predator's car, and it's too late. We thought we had candy coming, but it was the complete opposite. And could it be that in this life we are to be brought low, and we are to be humbled, and we are supposed to go through strife and tribulations and trials, just like who? The one that we call Lord, Lord? The one that's the Most High, who didn't deserve any of it? Could that be the same story of us? And could we not be called to be just like the teacher, the master, and we are supposed to represent that like we're made in his likeness and image, and a child and a brother of him? But yet when the offering comes and we're offered to be brought low and go through it, we reject it. Is that because we want the blessings now and then to have eternal damnation? We don't even process that way. We think it's only blessings, only good. Job, God said, is a perfect man. And when he went through his tribulation, his trials, and losing everything, he himself said, should the Lord only give me good? That was his immediate rebuke to the flesh of trying to curse God and get frustrated at God. He said, should the Lord only give me good and not bad? We need to reevaluate our heart, our life, our everything. We are going to die. That is reality. This life ends. Every day, people die. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Every single day. Are you living a life with an expectation to build a kingdom and a paradise here when you know you're going to die? Expecting to take those treasures and what you built with you to your grave, to the caskets, following you like the Pharaoh, and thinking you can reserve all these things when your body will be rotten and fleshly in the ground? We are from the dust, and the dust will return. Understand the purpose of why you're here, and you need to dig deep. You need to go deep in order to find that out. I pray for whoever this is for, it's for. And at the end of the day, it's only love of why I'm here telling you this. I pray you find God and seek him with your whole heart. God bless.